Well, is that the sort of game you get when the opposition is starting to take more attention to what you do?
Oh, I thought it was a good arm wrestle all day, or certainly the first half, and that's pretty much what we'd expected. We knew Fremantle, coming off their season to date, were going to be desperate and keen to make a strong contest of it, and they did. So I think that's what you get when you get two sides who are desperate for a win.
Do you feel that, like Alistair Clarkson said last week, that it's time to start looking at Adelaide and seeing what they're doing that's different and more attention's coming towards you?
Hard for me to say. I mean, we spend more time working on our style of play and the things that we're working on than necessarily worrying about what others are looking at in our style and trying to counteract what we're doing.
The side seemed to struggle to get started today. What was the reason for that? Just their tight defence, or just a lack of application, or breakdown in the game plan?
No, I don't think it was any significant. I don't think there was any breakdown. I just think it was one of those games where, in the ebbs and flows of games, you're going to have moments and times where you're able to be strong around the contest. I thought, to Freo's credit, they came out and hit us really hard, and after probably initial 5 minutes, I thought our guys responded really well. And certainly going to quarter time, the scoreboard was fairly even, but I felt like we'd sort of regained control of the contest, and then the game sort of ebbed and flowed. So it was a real arm wrestle.
Don, everyone's saying the captain doesn't look right. Even Ross Lyons sat here just then and said he looks like he's playing sore. Can you tell us, is he out there working through something to get out there? No. He had as was documented, he had a foot problem at the start of the year, but he's pretty much through the end of that. But through that, of course, he's not able to do the level of training. So he's going to get better and better from here. He's going to be able to train more regularly, and that'll help him with all the things with his touch and everything else. So how long did that foot issue?
Oh, that was in around for 3 or 4 weeks. So it sort of came right at the start of the year.
Do you think you dodged a bit of a bullet in the middle period due to Fremantle's conversion?
Well, it certainly assisted in the second quarter. I think they kicked 1 goal, 8 in the second quarter. So that potentially helped keep us in the game a little bit for the period where they had some dominance. But the reality is they didn't kick those goals. So I just saw at half time our guys we looked at some areas we wanted to work on in terms of the way we're moving the ball and work around the contest. In the third quarter we were able to find a way, which was really pleasing.
So what sort of changes did you implement after half time?
Oh, it was probably more how we would control the ball. We obviously had to keep making sure we won our share of it, but how we controlled and used the ball going forward. And some of that's just connection. That's a day-to-day, week-to-week type of thing that was just a little bit off, and then we started to get some of that connection. We're able to set up some good attacking entries and some score.
Don, what have you made of Scott Thompson's contribution this season with the ball and his leadership out there for your midfield?
Yeah, look, Scott's been really, really strong. I mean, I think, as I said a couple of weeks ago, he's a real Trojan workhorse for us through that midfield area, and sets a great example. And he continues, to sort of almost blossom as he gets older. His performances have been really strong, which is great.
Mitchell Garvin came off, looked like could have been potentially a serious knee injury. He obviously finished the game.
Yeah.
What was the messages that you were getting at the time? Was there any instability in it? Or?
No, look, they obviously brought him off and checked him out, and looked like it was just a knock to the knee in the end, so he was able to go back out. So he was all clear, and the docs assessed him, and he got back into the game.
And we see the key performance indicators far more clearly than we do. 6 weeks in, from the ones that you inherited, remember how you talked about that efficiency with ball use. Which are the ones that have improved and really pleased you?
Probably hard to individualise on one area in particular. I mean, we're working on all phases, and again, the contest is pivotal. Certainly each week, if you look through the games that are played, the ability to win the ball in the contest and own the ball around is really important.
Is that better this year?
I think that's probably the same level, or getting better, or improving. The beauty this year, I'm finding, is we've got a really even contribution. Our team, in terms of what we're looking at. Even I look at the stats at the end of the game. Our guys, the evenness of the contribution of our side means we're not relying on 1 or 2 players to get it done, and that at the moment I'm seeing is a real strength of the way we're playing.
What about efficiency? Is that on the up?
In terms of ball use?
Yeah,
but that comes and goes. That's subject to pressure. And today Fremantle put some really good pressure on, and I thought early days the conditions were a little bit tricky. I think the wind was playing a little bit of havoc out there with some of the ball use. Certainly some of the kicks that went long, guys who normally would judge them really well sort of misjudged them. So I think that made it a little bit more difficult. But then each game's unique because they've got different pressures on. And we maybe didn't kick it as well as we would have liked at times today. But that's ongoing, that's work in progress.
So Leeds' toe, will he need to be assessed, or is that it's just a little bruise, it's nothing to worry about?
I will probably get it scanned just from a precautionary viewpoint. He was pretty sore towards the end, so we'll get it scanned and have a look at it early in the week.
Last couple, guys.
Likely to make changes for next week, or?
It's too early to tell.
Yeah.
Too early to tell. I mean, I think we've come through pretty well. Usual bumps and bruises, so we'll assess them early in the week and get ready for what's another great challenge next week against the Bulldogs, who are playing some great footy.
Do you remember it was all that was said about your tough draw, and you now got 4 wins out of 6?
Yep.
Does it prove your point?
The draw, as I said at the start, the draw's the draw. And the reality is, you play who you play. Next week we've got the Bulldogs, who are in really good form, and I haven't even looked beyond that, to be honest. The season is very even, and we're seeing that now. You're seeing that all the time in terms of the contest between teams. The pleasing part for us today was we played an opposition who was desperate, coming off a poor start to the season, and whilst we maybe didn't play to the standard we wanted to play to, really pleasingly we found a way.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys. Thanks, Sam.